Okay folks, Cocktail Time with Tim continues. Today we're going to make an Annamiek Spritz in honor of 39-year-old Annamiek van Vleuten, who won the inaugural Tour de France Femme this year back in early August. A little late doing this video. Now, for those of you familiar with Spritz or have been drinking your Aperol Spritz all summer, this is closer to a Hugo Spritz where we're going to use the Saint-Germain as the liqueur instead of the Aperol, but we're going to give it 1 ounce of this Nolet's Dutch gin. Annamiek is Dutch, and she has a kick. If you've seen her fly up the hills on those final climbs where she took the yellow, and then on the final climb up the Super Blanche de Belleville, it was 24%, and she was absolutely flying up that hill. Oh, and by the way, the last kilometer is on gravel. So she showed us how incredibly powerful she is. So we're gonna give this drink a kick in that honor. Now, we're gonna start off, you can use any sort of glass. I like these little blue colored glasses that we've got, but you can use really anything, or if you've got a large wine goblet, that also works. So what you wanna do is you wanna either stick it in the fridge or ice it down, get it nice and cold, because when the champagne hits it, you are gonna get a lot of foam if you've got a really warm glass. So just chill it above, and it'll make the bubbles stay in the liquid and not so much foam up. So we're gonna start with 1 ounce of this Nolet's gin, as I said. We're gonna pop that right in there. Then we're gonna add 2 ounces of the Saint-Germain. Then next we're gonna add about 3 ounces of champagne. Yes, it's French champagne. It is not the most expensive French champagne because I'm gonna do some mixing with it. So you can either measure it out or you can eyeball it, really depending on your flavor here. Now, you've noticed I did not chill this, and so that's why it foamed up. So I'm not gonna, this last ounce, I'm just gonna pour it. Okay, and then I'm going to add about 2 ounces of club soda or charged soda water. And there you have the Annamiek Spritz. You can garnish with whatever you like. I've got a lemon here. And then we're just gonna give it a nice little spin just to mix it around a little bit. You don't wanna shake it or do anything like that. You just wanna gently stir the ingredients together. Now, when you say it's 2022 and you hear Lizzo singing in the background, it's about damn time, it is kind of amazing that the Tour de France Femme took so long to really be organized. And you can say, oh, wasn't there something? Yes, there was something in the late 80s called La Course. It was a one-day stage race afterwards. It was really weak tea compared to a true multi-day stage race. And this year's 8 days, over 1,000 kilometers, climbing many of the same climbs that the men climb, showed us that the women really can, theirs was a great tour, the men's was a great tour. They didn't take away from each other. If anything, they just added to each other. And when you think about the women, they really did it against the system or in despite of a system that really didn't give them the support that the men had. A lot was made about Jonas Vingegaard, the young 25-year-old who won the Tour de France this year. It was a super exciting race, winning against Tadej Pogačar. It was super exciting. That 6-7 years ago, he was working as a fisherman, and that was 6-7 years ago, and he was having to both race and train and develop on his own, and finally got his break. Well, in 2020, there was a study that 1/3 of the women's peloton, 1/3 of the women's currently were working second jobs to be able to do their sport. And that's no wonder when the minimum wage was 15,000 euros a year. And so many of them, not only were they having to work second jobs to support themselves, but over half of them were having to self-support, meaning they had to buy their own equipment, do their own travel, own lodging, all of that stuff, which is kind of sad. So when you think about that, you watch these amazing athletes do this sport, even with all the hardship of trying to do it, and stay in the shape they're in, and show us that they can be this amazing athletes. Now, Annamiek has been dominating the sport for a couple of decades, and so cheers to her, or sante to her. But I just can't help but wonder the other 25-year-olds or 24-year-olds who, had they had the support that the men had, that might have developed and might have challenged her in this year's tour, or perhaps other races in the future. So I'm hoping that there are more of those younger women will get their breaks, will get their chance, won't give up before they can fully develop their talents. And I think the world and the race and the sport will be better off for it. So here's to Annamiek on your victory, and here's to more women showing us how beautiful, how powerful, and how athletic they can be. And let's salute that. Sante. Oh, that's nice.